Yo, what's going on, man? It's Mo Saleem here from TripleYourT.com, and in today's video we're going to be talking about D-Aspartic acid and whether it is actually a proven testosterone booster in men. Alright, so D-Aspartic acid is an alternate form of the amino acid called asparate. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein, and asparate is one of the 20 main structural amino acids. D-aspartic acid, aka DAA, is naturally present in the human body and primarily in the region of the brain called the pituitary gland, which is the area that is responsible for the production of anabolic hormones. So D-aspartic acid has been shown to increase the amount of GnRH, aka gonadotropin releasing hormone, which is a precursor for LH, luteinizing hormone, which is a precursor for testosterone. And this is why DAA is theorized to increase testosterone levels in men. In animal studies, when rats were injected with D-aspartic acid, their testosterone levels elevated by 300%. But do the same effects carry over in humans as well? Well, this is the question which we will look at through the lens of 5 published scientific research studies that were performed in humans and answer the question of whether D-aspartic acid is actually a proven testosterone booster or not. Alright, so in this first study, 43 healthy men were brought in and given 3.12 grams of D-aspartic acid for 12 days. After just 12 days of treatment, the average rise in testosterone levels of the subjects was by 42%. And this is the study which actually brought D-aspartic acid into the spotlight, whereby so many of the most best-selling and common testosterone boosters that are available on the market contain D-aspartic acid as a primary ingredient. Alright, so in this second study, 20 resistant strain men were brought in and given 3 grams of D-aspartic acid for 28 days. Blood samples were collected once before the start of the treatment and once at the 28-day mark after the treatment was over. When comparing the testosterone levels across these two time periods, 3 grams of D-aspartic acid supplementation failed to have an influence on the subject's testosterone levels. So although the first study found that D-aspartic supplementation increased testosterone by 42% after 12 days, this study was performed over a much longer time period, which was 28 days, and it found that D-aspartic supplementation failed to have an influence on testosterone. Alright, so in this third study, 60 infertile men were brought in and given 2.66 grams of D-aspartic acid for 90 days. Blood and semen samples were collected once before the treatment began and once 90 days after the treatment. So results of this study found that the D-aspartic supplementation was able to significantly improve the infertile men's parameters of sperm quality and motility, and LH and testosterone levels increased by an average of 30 to 60%. So yes, in this third study, D-aspartic supplementation seems to be a very effective measure at improving the sperm quality and testosterone levels in infertile men. And that brings us to study number 4, in which 15 healthy men were brought in and given 3 grams of D-aspartic acid for 14 days. The two primary measurements in this study were strength and testosterone levels. So at the end of 14 days, the men that were given D-aspartic acid experienced minor increases in their bench press and squat, something like 3 to 5% increases compared to placebo, and no changes whatsoever in their testosterone levels. So study number 4 is another study in which D-aspartic acid failed to have an influence on the testosterone levels of otherwise healthy men. Alright, so in this fifth and final study, 24 resistant strain men were brought in and randomly assigned to one of 3 groups. The first group was placebo, the second group received 3 grams of D-aspartic supplementation, and the third group received 6 grams of D-aspartic supplementation. And the study was carried over 1 month. And all the participants were also put on a 4-day per week resistance training program. The results of this study actually reveal some pretty interesting results. The subjects that received 6 grams of D-aspartic supplementation for that 1 month experienced a 12% decrease in their total testosterone levels and a 15% decrease in their free testosterone levels. The subjects that were given 3 grams of D-aspartic acid experienced a 0.7% decrease in their total testosterone and about a 1% or 2% decrease in their free testosterone levels. So yeah, in this group, the results were insignificant. And surprisingly, the group that got the best results were the placebo group. In placebo, total testosterone levels elevated by what, 1% or something like that, and free testosterone actually elevated by close to 10%. So according to this fifth study, D-Aspartic supplementation fails to have an influence on testosterone at the dose of 3 grams. And if you exceed that dose to reach a dose of 6 grams, it may actually result in a decrease. But the study also confirms that lifting weights and building muscle is one of the best ways to increase your testosterone levels naturally. So based on these 5 studies, only 2 of them showed that D-aspartic acid had an increase in testosterone levels. And in the first study, it was performed only over 12 days, so we can't be sure whether the same results carried over in the long term. And in the second study that showed an increase, it was performed in infertile men. So we can't be sure of whether the same results will carry over in otherwise healthy men as well. So D-aspartic acid is not a proven testosterone booster in men. So as for its benefits to athletic performance, the 5 studies above show that it either has no effect on athletic performance or may result in a minor increase in muscle and strength. As for some of its other benefits, D-aspartic acid does seem to be very beneficial for men who are infertile and improving their seminal parameters like sperm motility and sperm volume. And D-aspartic acid seems to be effective at increasing testosterone levels over the short term. But as we've gone over already, we can't be sure whether these results carry over in the long term in otherwise healthy men as well. As for D-aspartic side effects, if you stay within the recommended dose of below 4 grams, there are not really any side effects. But if you exceed that recommended dose, there are some reported side effects that include acne, digestive issues, irritability, headaches, and mood swings. So in conclusion, D-aspartic acid is a very popular testosterone boosting ingredient, but popular does not translate to effective. So my advice to you whenever you're looking at trying out a new supplement or anything like that is to dig into the research and find out the context of the research and not just the conclusion of the research, all right? So some supplement can be scientifically proven to work, but that science can also be just performed in a low quality animal study or a petri dish study, which the results of don't carry over in humans as well. And if you want to dive deeper into each of the 5 studies that I've gone over in this video, I've linked out to my blog post in the link in the description, so you can check that out as well. But I just want to end this video by saying that if testosterone optimization is a priority for you, then you should always make diet and lifestyle a priority, all right? Never rely on supplements as the sole measure of getting results, because diet and lifestyle changes are what is most important. With all that being said, this has been Mo Saleem. I hope this video provided you with the information you were looking for, and I'll see you soon.